This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. So in the last session of object-oriented programming, we were discuss about just a private variable and protected and public. And in today's session, I'm going to discuss about encapsulation. So encapsulation is a simple mechanism. Encapsulation is the first feature of object-oriented programming. This is the first feature of object-oriented programming, and it is a common feature where we can use repeatedly in every program. So let me show you the example. Encapsulation is the process of encapsulation is the process of providing restriction restriction providing restriction to access variables and methods. Encapsulation is the process of providing restriction to access variables and methods. So why we need encapsulation means why we need encapsulation encapsulation means to prevent the data from modification to prevent the data from modification. Encapsulation is the process of providing restriction to access variables and methods. Why we need encapsulation means to prevent the data from modification. Means if someone is trying to modify the data or change the data, then we can prevent them by using encapsulation. We can achieve we can achieve the encapsulation mechanism. We can achieve the encapsulation mechanism by using private variables and private methods. Private variables and private methods. Once we make our variables and methods are private, then there is a possibility to restrict the variables and methods from the modification process. So because private variables and private methods can only be accessed within the same class where we declare it, and we can't able to access these private variables and private methods into outside of the class. That is for sure. So let's see this practical implementation. In the last session, we have seen clearly how we can declare the variables and methods are private, public, okay, protected. So by default, all the variables and methods are public only in Python object-oriented programming. By default, all the variables and methods are public only, sir. But if you want to make the variables and methods are private, then we can use underscore underscore symbol. So let's see the quick example of private variables. First methods through I will show you. Then later we'll go for variables through. So object-oriented programming 17. Now here I'm taking class name just I'm taking car. So I'm taking one constructor here, and constructor I'm just giving here inside the constructor. I'm not implementing anything. So that is initialization. It is a constructor. Look at this. Here I'm creating one method called update software. So update software is a method. Update software is a method. This is the method. So this is what method? Private method. How to recognize this method is private method? Because this method is starting with what? Two underscores. This is private method clearly. The method which is starts with two underscore, this is private method. And in this private method, I'm writing here, you can see car software is updating here. Car software is updating. I'm taking just message. So look at this. C equals to car. It's an object of the car class. So C is an object and car is the class name here. And we have in this class constructor is there and this method is there like private method. So this method, where do we access only within the same class? For sure. So this update software method we can access within the same class only, sir. Let's see this how we can access within the constructor. I would like to access here. So because though it is private method, but it's a instance method only. So this instance method we can access into within the class by using what? Self. So self dot underscore underscore update software method. So this is the method callings are here. Okay. The moment when we create object to the class, who will execute? Constructor will execute. Inside the constructor, what I'm calling this private method self dot underscore underscore update software method. So this private method we can access within the same class, not in outside the class. So that's the reason line number 8 we created object for the class automatically. When we create object to the class, constructor is executing, but inside the constructor you can see this. I'm using self dot underscore underscore update software method. This is private method, already private method we declare here. Now we can underscore underscore update software here. So let's run this one. So we got this output clearly. So car software is what's are updating here. Car software is updating. Fine. So because of this private method, we are accessing into same class only. Imagine that there is no constructor available. I'm just giving commenting. There is no constructor present in this car class. If the constructor is not present in the car class, then this update software method is a private method. When we use this private method outside the class, when we try to access, is Meteor Audio? Yeah. Now I'm trying to access this update software method into, okay. So I'm trying to add update software method into outside the class. Just observe here, you can see underscore underscore update software, but this is not possible, sir. Why not possible? The reason is this underscore underscore update software method is a private method. Private method generally we cannot access into outside the class, but still we are trying to access here, but it will give error, sir. You can see this attribute error. Car object has no attribute underscore underscore update software method. It's not possible to access here because this is private method here. What method it is? Private method. The private methods cannot access outside of the class. Private methods can only access within the same class, what we have seen in this example here. So this method is not a private method right now. Let's remove this underscore underscore. Then default method is what? Actually public. All methods in object oriented programming is public methods. So these are all public methods only. So public method I'm trying to access into outside the class. So this is where exactly how method is act as private and how method is act as public. So public methods anywhere we can access within the same class as well as within the outside the class. And private methods we can access only within the same class where we declare it. Outside the class not possible. Through constructor we can able to access this private method. So happily we can access her. So do you want to provide restrictions on your method for accessing only within the class? Say that is private. Or if you don't have any restriction on your method, anywhere you can allow to access this method, so then we can go for public method. So these are the method declaration, not only variables, method and variables both we can make as private as well as public. But by default, all the variables and methods are public only in Python object-oriented programming. Okay, so let's see this now. Variables also we can work with. Private variables, how it will act. So in the context of encapsulation mechanism, object-oriented programming 18, I'm creating one more class car, and look at this, I'm taking underscore underscore car name. I'm not giving any name, just I'm taking max speed equals to 0 I'm setting. These two are private variables. How do you know that these two are private variables? Because the variable which is starts with two underscores and the variable which is starts with two underscores, that is name is empty string and max speed is what? 0 only here. This is what class? Car class here. Okay. So these two are private variables only. Easily we can recognize that. Let's see this here. I'm creating constructor here. Inside the constructor, I can initialize the values to my private fields, no problem. I'm trying to initialize that underscore underscore name equals to car name. So any name you can give this, okay, name, and self dot underscore underscore what actually max speed I'm setting actually initially 100 speed. Now you can see initialization is constructor. So constructor is a part of same class only, but in the same class I'm declaring private variables. Private variables I can able to access within the same class, no problem. I have initialized and I'm trying to access also here. Access means what here? Self dot underscore underscore name, car name. Next print self dot underscore underscore max speed like this. Okay. Now let's create object for the class car. The moment when I try to create the object to the class, who will execute? Constructor will execute. But these two are private variables. But where we were access private variables within the same class only through constructor, it's okay, fine. Okay. So that car name is this name, and max speed I set what actually 100 only, clearly fine. Yes. Next, what I'm trying to do, look at this. I'm trying to take one method called drive method. Okay, drive method. Inside this drive method, so what I'm trying to do here, you can see just a message I'm giving here. So what message I'm giving here, you can see this. So just I'm giving this message like this. I'm using dot format function. Self dot what action I'm taking underscore underscore name comma self dot underscore underscore what actually max speed like this. So you know that this format, why we use this one, because this is the placeholder representation. In this placeholder representation I am passing first parameter like format function through self dot underscore underscore name, in the sense car name. Here driving Grand Vitara car with the speed 100, it is going to this max speed is 100 only. That this is the method which is belongs to same class only, that is called car class. So drive method is a public method, so no problem, public method I can able to access into outside the class. C dot drive method I'm using. So when method is calling, so these details are printing. Let's run this one. So look at this, through constructor we got this output, car name is this one and car max speed is this one. Through method is public method, you can see driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is what actually 100 only. Driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is 100. Perfect. Okay. For example, look at this. Car max speed variable is what variable it is? Private variable. Double underscore max speed equal to 0. But I'm trying to do change this underscore underscore max speed equals to 200. Again, I'm calling drive method clearly. Just look at this. So line number 15, I have changed car speed is 200, from 100 to 200 I have changed. Notice this here. C dot underscore underscore max speed equal to 200. From 100 to 200 I have changed car max speed. So now C dot drive method is there here. C dot drive method. But the moment when I try to change this max speed from 100 to 200, will it affect on drive method? Will it affect on drive method? No. Why not affect here? Because this is a private variable. Private variable value can never change outside the class, because it is having restriction for do not change private variable value outside of the class. Private variable value can only change within the same class where it is declared. So in which class we declare private variable? Within the same class like car. and in this name, in this only we can change it, but outside the class we are trying to modify this 100 value to 200, but that modification will not impact. Look at this, in constructor through this is working. And first time line number 14, when I call this drive method, driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is 100. Even whenever I attempt to change that max speed equals to 100 to 200, still after changes, when I try to recall the method again, drive method, again you can see this method is not changing the impact. So this is what actually why we need encapsulation means to prevent the data from modification. To prevent the data from modification means what? To prevent the data from modification means if someone is trying to modify your data, we can prevent them for not modifying the data clearly, sir. Okay, without. So even I am trying to modify this private variable value, changes will not impact on our method. This is the way. But just observe here, if this private variable is not, it is just a public variable. I want to make this variable as a public variable. Got my point? You can see this. I'm removing underscore underscore all the ways. Max speed. Now max speed is what actually private variable, not public variable it is. Because the variable which is not starts with underscore underscore, that's by default actually public variable. So public variable value got changed here. So impact will be there every time. Outside the class also we can change that value. Now you can see driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is 100. Driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is what? 200. So public variable value got changed clearly here. Okay. So easily we can able to change this public variable value, sir. So private variable value we cannot change like that. Okay, this is the case clearly. So that's what we can make. What if you want to provide restriction on it, so better to use what your variables, make this as a private only. So once the variables are private, so no one can able to change outside of the class. Within the class we can allow to change, but outside the class we don't want allowed to change. So even if I try to change here, changes will not impact on your variables and methods. So this is restriction we are providing. Okay, yes, fine. Next, I am showing one more scenario. Suppose I have a method. Look at this. Def set speed is method. I'm creating one more method called set underscore speed. It's a method name, and this method is having a parameter like speed parameter. So I'm passing here. So this is what actually our method. But strictly remember, this method is a public method. Okay, set underscore speed is what? Public method. Set underscore speed is public method. This public method I'm trying to call. After calling drive method, so c dot set speed. But the moment when we call set speed method, it's saying what actually speed. Speed is what one of the parameter. So whenever method is having parameter, we should supply the parameter value, that is input value. Set speed, that is what actually I'm giving 200. Okay. The moment when we call this set speed method, okay, c dot set underscore speed of 200, immediately it will call set speed method, and the speed 200 will go and stored into speed here. We are in the same class only. Within the same class, I'm trying to access max speed equals to what actually speed I'm taking. Max speed equal to speed. Now I'm printing, so same message here. You can see this. This message I'm copying and pasting into here only. So we are in the same class, but we have another method called public method set underscore speed. But outside this class, I'm calling this public method. This public method is expecting what actually speed is a parameter. So this parameter value I'm supplying. So 200 will go to here. 200 will be right hand side, that is speed variable, and 200 will be assigned to max speed only. So right now max speed is 100 only. So immediately 200 will change. So outside the value coming to the class with method set speed method, and this set speed method through we are changing the speed. This is also possible, no problem. Let's see this. Okay, so because of this line, constructor is executing constructor through, we got this what? This is the message. One constructor through, we have car name we are displaying, and also max speed we are displaying. This is car name we are displaying, max speed we are displaying. Next line number 19 through, we are calling drive method. Using drive method, we are getting what? This one only. Driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is 100 only. But the moment when we go for set underscore speed method of 200, now we can see this is set underscore speed, self dot speed, speed value 200. 200 will be assigned to here. Driving Grand Vitara car with the speed is dot format self dot underscore name self dot underscore max speed, like this. Okay, so this is the case. So this is just making variables and methods are private. What is the advantage if you make the variables and methods are private? Means a simple advantage, if you don't want to allow to change outside the class, then make your variables and methods are private, or you can leave them as a public only. Public means everybody can able to access. There is no restriction on that. So outside the class also we can able to access clearly. Okay. So this is about encapsulation feature, how we can restrict the variables and methods in object-oriented programming for not accessing outside the class. This feature is very common feature for everywhere. So anywhere we can able to use it. Now next feature I'm trying to discuss, what is that? Inheritance. As I said that in object-oriented programming, inheritance is the process of creating new class from existing class. So in inheritance process, existing class is also treated as what class? Base class. Existing class is also treated as what class? Base class, or it is parent class, or it is super class. Newly created class is treated as what actually? Derived class, or it is child class, or it is subclass, like this. You can name it any name. The main the main advantage of inheritance is reusability and extensibility. Reusability and extensibility. This is the main advantage of inheritance. Reusability means once we implement the logic inside the parent class, that logic directly we can able to reuse in the child class only. So reusability and extensibility. Once we implement the logic in the parent class, that we can directly use into child class. Again and again, no need to re-implement the logic in the child class only. Directly we can able to include in the child class. And extensibility means even once we inherit a child class from parent, from that child class also we can extend the logic. Few more classes we can able to inherit, no problem. That is extensibility feature. Reusability and extensibility, like that. Okay, so there are different types of inheritances are there, what we discuss. Okay, different types of inheritances. Single inheritance is there, single, and even a multi-level inheritance is there, multi-level, and even multiple inheritance is there, multiple inheritance, and even hierarchical inheritance is there, hierarchical, hybrid inheritance is there, hybrid. These are all different types of inheritances: single, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, hybrid inheritance. First look into this. Generally, where in what situation we can go for inheritance. Okay, generally we will explain that situation to demand inheritance concept. So imagine that there is an X company. Okay, there is an X company. That X company people are asking to computerize their branch details. Okay, so X company people are asking to computerize their branch details. If they want to computerize their branch details, so many branches are there in the city. If they are trying to uh, computerize their branch details as a programmer, for maintaining this branch details, I'm creating this code like this. Let's see this practically. So what is the purpose of inheritance? First try to understand. So object oriented programming 19. So company people are asking to computerize their branch details. So that's what I'm creating branch class. And I'm taking methods also, get underscore branch underscore details is a method actually. So method name can be of any name. So two methods I'm creating, and display underscore branch underscore details. Okay, two methods are there right now. These two methods I have to implement. So there is an X company. That X company people are asking to computerize their branch details. So that I am creating as a programmer one branch class. In this branch class, I am implementing two methods, get underscore branch underscore details, display underscore branch underscore details. So whenever we call this method, so I want to accept the branch details from the user, self dot, I'm creating b code, that means branch code, equals to int of input of enter, int of input of enter branch code. Okay, then self dot what actually b name, that is what actually branch name, input of enter branch name like this. Self dot what actually b address equals to input of enter branch address like this. So branch code, branch name, branch address. Okay, so these details I'm asking the moment when we call get underscore branch underscore details method. So display method also I'm doing, sir. You can see display here. So how to display this? Just I'm taking branch code is, let's go for here. Branch code is self dot b code branch code. Here you can see branch name is self dot b name. Next here you can see branch address is self dot b address like this. We got this implementation of this branch class. Let's create object for the branch class here as usual. So b is an object of branch class. Through branch class object only we are calling the method get branch details and display branch details. This is very simple and straightforward program. There is no complication. So if company people are asking to computerize their branch details, so as a programmer we created a branch class and we are calling the methods get branch details, display branch details, b equals to branch, this method. The moment when we run this program, so user will enter branch details according to their requirement. Suppose branch code is 2314, branch name is SR Nagar, branch address is Hyderabad. We got this branch details, no? Fine. But just observe here. So as per company requirement, we did implementation. We got the details clearly, no problem at all. Next, what I'm trying to do, the same X company is asking to computerize what their employee details also later. Okay. So now what they're asking to computerize their employee details. To do this, what we need to do as a programmer to computerize their employee details, we need to create one more class program to computerize these details, employee detail. Let's copy this. I'm doing modification clearly. Let's see this, what I'm trying to do modification. That is class name is what actually employee. So class employee class and get here emp underscore details. Get emp details, display emp details like this. So here emp id, ename, just I'm changing employee details, ename, e-address. Now enter emp id here. Enter emp id, enter ename, or employee name, enter employee address. So these are the details. Fine. The display EMP details also I'm taking. EMP ID is PID. So EMP ID. EMP name is ename. EMP address is address. Address like that. Okay. So class employee get underscore emp underscore details, display underscore emp underscore details, employee IDs. We got employee class also. Let's create object for employee class also here. So how we got object for employee branch class we created. No, same we need to create object for employee details. Let's see this e equals to employee class, and we need to create object for what? Employee get emp details method and display emp details method. So company, according to company requirement, we implemented branch class, branch functionality we are doing. And again, later they are asking to computerize their employee details. We implement employee class. We created object for employee, and we call the employee methods get underscore emp details, display underscore emp details. So look at this, these two programs, like two classes are there within the same program. Branch class, branch methods, employee class, employee methods. These two are individual classes and individual methods. When we try to execute this one, look at this. I'm trying to run this. Now branch code is like this. Any branch code, branch name I'm taking here. Branch address I'm giving like this. So branch code 2543, branch name SR Nagar, branch address Hyderabad, enter employee ID. Employee ID is like this 3456. Employee name is any name. Employee address is like this. So we got employee details also. So we are getting branch details separate as well as employee details separate. Note this point. So look at this. We are getting what? Branch details separate. Okay. And employee details also separate. Sir. Branch details separate and employee details separate. We are getting. But the company people are asking this only, no? So they are asking first initially to computerize their branch details. We did that. And later they were asking to computerize employee details also. We did that. Okay. But later, what the company people are expecting means they are asking to know which employee belongs to which branch. Company requirement is to know which employee is belongs to which branch. They are asking which branch like this. Okay, which employee belongs to which branch. So we cannot get if we implement branch details separate and employee details separate. Okay, we cannot get these details, branch details separately if we implement and employee details separately if we implement. We cannot get the details to know which employees belongs to which branch. No. So that's what we need to do. We need to do inheritance. So this is where actually single inheritance come into the picture. So let's see this here. This is inheritance, single inheritance as per our discussion previously. So this is first diagram and this is second diagram. Inheritance symbol is always up, arrow mark should be up only. So I'm creating here, just observe here. This is first branch class. And this is what employee class. Now employee class is inherited from branch. So obviously this class is going to become what class? Parent class. This class is going to become what class? Child class. So initially we were created two classes separately, branch and employee classes. Okay. And we implement logic separately branch and logic separately employee. We got the employee detail separate and branch detail separate clear. But now we are trying to inherit. So employee inherited from which class? Branch class. This is what inheritance through coding said. Employee class is inherited from branch class. So through coding part inheritance, we have to do like this. Employee is inherited from branch. Of bracket you have to use inside the bracket which class you are inheriting, that class name you have to mention. Now this time branch class and employee class are related with each other because of inheritance we have applied. So branch class and employee class are related with each other. But strictly remember, in inheritance process, advantage is what? Reusability. Meaning is what? Whatever we have implementation in parent class like branch class, that by default will come to what? Child class like employee class. So two classes are related with each other. Previously, in the previous example, I was created objects for two classes separately. Branch class object is there B, employee class object is there E. Two separate objects I created. But now we have inheritance, no? So which class object if you create, you will get all details. Okay, no problem. If you want, you can create object for branch also. But in inheritance process, if you want to get advantage of inheritance, okay, advantage of inheritance, then what we need to do? We need to create object for what? A child class only, sir. Why? Because if we create object for child class, then automatically child class will bring details of its parent only. So that's what advantage is there here. Strictly remember, if you want to get advantage of inheritance, okay, better to create object for child class. Why? Because if we create object for child class will get all features from its parent only by default. But it doesn't mean that we should not create object for parent class. You can also create object for parent class, no problem. Okay, we can also create object for parent class, but only you will get parent details. If we create object for parent class, you will get only parent details, not child details. So if you want to get advantage of inheritance, better to create object for what? Child class only. Child class will bring automatically parent details. So that is what inheritance advantage. Now we have two classes, employee and branch. We need to create object for employee class. So the moment when we create object for employee class, you can see employee class. So e object through we can collect branch details also. Look at this get. Branch details are coming in IntelliSense, which is coming from branch. Employee details get method also is coming from, which is belongs to employee class. Okay, why? Because inheritance. If there is no inheritance, observe here. Just if there is no inheritance, I'm removing inheritance. Just observe. Is there inheritance right now? No. The reason is only employee class is there, and then after branch class is there. So two classes are individual classes. Now we can able to call the methods get emp details. Only employee details are coming from employee class because we created exclusively object for employee class, and there is no inheritance. So now we can make inheritance. The advantage is what? Child class through we can get parent details also. Get emp details. Yes, it's coming emp details. Child class details are coming as well as parent details also coming. So get emp details and e dot display branch details also there. E dot display employee details are there here. So we got all the methods. So E is an object of employee class. E dot get branch details, E dot get emp details, E dot display branch details, E dot display emp details. All the details are there. So this is what inheritance, single inheritance. Why? Because creating new class from single base class. I am creating new class, that is employee class. From which class? Single base class, that is called branch class. So this is single inheritance. Now, as per company requirement, initially the company X company is asking branch details. We created branch class. We implemented. Later, company people are asking employee details. We created employee class. We implemented. So we got that branch details and employee details separately. But later, the company people are asking to know which employee belongs to which branch, means we need to create branch details, employee details, but both we have to combine them. Okay, through inheritance only. So inheritance advantage is what? Child parent class functionality by default will come to child class whenever we try to create object for child class. Let's see this now. We will get branch details as well as employee details all together. Now employee branch code, branch name, branch address, employee ID, employee name, employee address, like this. So we got both details, branch details as well as employee details, both are coming. So this employee belongs to so and so particular branch he is. Okay, this is what inheritance, single inheritance. We just create a new class from single base class. That's what it is, single inheritance only. And we can also extend, means we are reusability, like parent class details we are reusing into child class only. But there is a possibility that is extensibility. Extensibility means what? As per company requirements, we implemented only two classes like employee class as well as branch class. But there is an extensibility option also there. Extensibility means later, if same company is asking to computerize it, their employee salary details also. For example, suppose here X company is accepting employee salary details. Employee salary details also they are expecting like that. Branch details, employee details, and then employee salary details. Later my requirement is changing. I need to go for employee salary details also separately. So then we can go for what? Employee salary details also how to implement. So how to implement this employee salary details? We have to extend the logic here. Already we have created two classes. One is branch class, another one is employee class. And we are trying to create one more class, employee salary details. So this is extensibility. So extensibility diagram is this is. I'm creating one more diagram here, that is employee salary details computerized purpose. So let's inherit this also from employee class. So this is what inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Look at this. This is also child class. And now we can see this is branch and employee. This is multi-level inheritance. We can say employee salary details. Employee salary details here. Employee salary is one more class which is inherited from what class? Employee class. So now we are creating one more class. Extensibility is there or not? Initially branch class and employee class, but now I'm trying to extend one more class like employee salary. That is possibility is there. So this is called multi-level inheritance. Multi-level means what I said, creating new class from already derived class. We are creating new class employee salary from already derived class. What is that? Employee only. This is multi-level inheritance clearly. Okay. Let's see this. I want to extend the logic here from now onwards. Already two classes I created. Then I have to extend the logic here. So I want to extend the logic here. Let's see this how to extend the logic. So this is branch class. One class I implemented. Here it is. And next we have employee class which is inherited from branch. Next we have to extend the logic here. What logic here? Class, one more class, EMP or employee salary or EMP salary better. EMP salary is my class name. This class should be inherited from what actually? Employee. So employee like this. This is inheritance. So this EMP salary class through I am trying to accept the employee salary details one by one. First method I'm trying to create get basic underscore salary. So user will ask basic salary through this method. So user has to enter the basic salary, how much he wants. Self dot basic equals to, okay, int of input of enter basic salary. Enter basic salary I'm asking. Based on the basic only, we need to calculate rest of the things, rest of the salary details. So for that I'm taking calculate method. It's a method. You can take any name of the method, no problem. Through this method, I'm trying to calculate this employee salary details. Let's see this how I'm trying to calculate this employee salary details. Okay. So get underscore basic underscore salary is a method name. You can take any name of the method, not a problem. This method through I'm trying to accept what details, basic salary details. I'm trying to accept it. Based on the basic, I'm calculating this DA dearness allowance equals to, so self dot basic into how much percentage basic dearness allowance you want to access means 0.04. Self dot HRA house rental allowance equals to self dot basic into 0.4 I'm taking, or 0.3 only, or 4. Finally self dot gross salary I'm calculating equals to self dot basic plus self dot DA plus self dot HRA. That's our A house rental allowance. Fine. So total salary is gross salary only. So whenever we call this calculate method, automatically this calculation is going to take place, because before this calculate method we are asking basic salary from the user and how much it is basic salary. For example, you are entered basic salary 25,000. 25,000 into 0.04, that is DA. 25,000 into 0.4 HRA. Total is HRA plus DA plus basic is gross salary. We have to print this salary details also. For printing salary details, I'm creating one more method, display underscore salary underscore details is a method name. So we can display this salary details one by one, sir. Here print basic is self dot what actually basic. Print DA is self dot what actually DA. Print HRA is self dot HRA. Print grass is self dot grass. So we are just printing all the details like this. So look at this. Initially, according to my programming, according to my company requirement, I was created branch class and employee class, which is inherited from branch. But later, according to company requirement, we are extending the logic here by adding employee salary, which is inherited from employee. This is called multi-level. It is called extensibility feature also. The main advantage of inheritance is what? Reusability. That means parent functionality we can able to reuse into child class through extensibility. Even in the child class, according to requirement, any number of child classes we can extend that. So that is extensibility, single as well as multi-level. Right now we are working with multi-level only. Now we have three classes are there: branch, employee, as well as employee salary. Now, which class object if you create, you will get enter the details. Obviously, as per inheritance rule, if you want to get advantage of inheritance, better to create object for what? Last child class, sir. So when we create object for EMP salary, that automatically bring the details of employee. Then employee class automatically bring the details of what? Branch only, sir. So strictly remember, if you want to get the advantage of inheritance, better to create object for last child class, sir. So that will be good. So it doesn't mean that we should not create object for base classes like parent classes. We can also create, no problem. We can create object for employee, we can create object for branch, but branch, if we create only branch details, you will get. Employee, if we create only employee and branch details, you will get. If we create employee salary object, then we will get employee details as well as branch details as well as employee salary details. All together you will get. So you have to create object for what? Employee salary. Create E equals to employee salary object. Using this object, you can see this. I'm trying to create all the methods. I'm trying to get first. I'm trying to get branch details. Now I'm trying to get employee details. Now get basic salary I'm getting. After basic salary calculation is over. After calculation, I'm calling rest of the methods display purpose. First display branch details. Next display EMP details. Next display salary details. So display branch details, display EMP details, display salary details, all the methods I'm calling. So we got this clearly output. Look at this. Employee branch code, any code you can use, branch code, branch name, branch address, like this. Next employee ID is 7648, employee name, employee address, employee basic salary. I'm taking basic salary 23,450 rupees, and now enter this. So we got this. Look at this, all the details, branch code, branch name, branch address, employee code, employee name, employee address, and basic salary, and DA allowance, HRA house rental allowance, and gross salary 33,768 rupees. These all details are getting. This is called what inheritance? Multi-level inheritance through we got this. So like this, we can create any number of classes, any number of uh, classes. We can extend that. We can create object for which class do you want. You can able to access the methods here. This is exactly purpose of inheritance. So parent class functionality directly we can access through child class object clearly. This is multi-level inheritance. Okay, and multiple also there, but multiple hybrid different cases. So in other languages like C Sharp, .NET, even Java, multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance is not possible to support. But in Python, multiple inheritance as well as hybrid inheritance is clearly possible. There is a technique in Python that is MRO, that is method resolution order. That method resolution order technique or algorithm through Python clearly supports multiple inheritance as well as hybrid inheritance. How multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance will support with MRO technique, and how hierarchical inheritance, how it will be, we will be discussing tomorrow session clearly. And also, uh, what is the constructor role in each and every inheritance, we also will discuss in tomorrow session clearly. So that's all for now today. So this is the basic examples of inheritance and reusability and extensibility purpose. Okay.